Well, in a weekend where several clubs' fates are in Spurs' hands, West Ham's hands, and Bournemouth's hands, on the final day of the Premier League season, we're here to discuss what is a very important game for one club. And, well, I mean, to be honest, most clubs' season ends tomorrow, but decent teams. They've still got another game to go after this. Welcome back to West Ham Official. Hope you are. Oh, well, match preview for
last game for us, mate. Last game
versus West Ham. A few guests joining me tonight. Firstly, Toby. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Just excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully we can finish things off on a high. Gary, how are you?
I'm good, Jake. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad at all. And Chris, how are you, mate?
Fair to middling, living the dream, as they say.
Chris, I'll start with you. I spoke to you on Thursday night ahead of this game, and obviously for you, there's nerves involved, and there's quite a big possibility that that you could go down, and it is really all in Everton and Bournemouth's hands, because if Everton win, whatever you do is irrelevant. So it's quite nervy for you.
It is, and it shouldn't have got to this, but it has. And whatever our fate is, as we discussed before we came live, it's not all down to tomorrow. It's down to the previous 37 games that have put us into this position. But would I sooner be in this position or be where Southampton is, knowing that they can just go out and enjoy tomorrow? No, I'd sooner be in our position, the fact that we've got a chance. And if we can go out and beat you as we did earlier in the season, then that's all we can do. And I don't hold out much hope for Bournemouth. Everton are better at home than they are away. They're going to have the crowd behind them. But look, it's been the weirdest of weird seasons, and you could see Leeds beating. I mean, it made me laugh because on the radio this morning they were saying about Leeds could win, Leicester could win, and Everton could win. We've not won that many games over the season. Why are we going to suddenly do it on the last day? But yeah, it's going to be nervous. But look, it's a game of football at the end of the day.
It is, and Toby, I'll come to you. Is that this game probably isn't our priority. Of course, Prague is our priority, but from our perspective, it'll always be nice to end the Premier League season on a high.
Yeah, if it's a lot, but I'm scared we're just going to rest all our players in preparation for Prague, and if we do, I'm just interested to see how the game's going to go.
Yeah. Gary, I think it's interesting because there is the element of resting players, and how many will Moyes rest? I don't know, to be honest, because he went full resting against Brentford, and that was a disaster. Not that it really mattered. And then he put a few more in against Brentford, against Leeds, and that was better, and we won. So I don't know how Moyes is going to approach this. Have you got any ideas?
Well, personally, I think he'll play a full-strength team because the guys haven't played for a long time. They've got 10 days till the final. And they need some matches, because if you rest them again, it's going to be like 2.5 weeks to kick the ball when it gets to the final. So I'll be very surprised indeed if it's not a really strong team tomorrow. I think it'll be a very strong team he puts out. That's my gut feel. Sorry for Leicester fans, but that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, there is sort of many different avenues that he could go down with it. He could go, right, I'm not going to take any risks. I'm not going to play any players ahead of the final, so I'm going to put out the B team.
They'll be rusty in that case, Jake. Like Antonio won't kick the ball for nearly a month before the final comes if he doesn't get a game tomorrow.
Yeah, and then he could sort of do like a mix and match where like sort of 5 first teamers play, and then maybe there's a few that come in just to really rest a few others, or he could, as you said, Gary, go really full strength. And in what's possibly and most probably going to be Declan Rice's last Premier League game in a West Ham shirt. Of course, that is dependent on, of course, what happens in the summer. But I'd be surprised if Moyes doesn't put out a relatively strong side, Toby.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be interesting to see the way he does it. Chris, I mean, from your perspective, how do you sort of see us lining up?
I think it's a harder decision for Moyes, and can I just say, Luton have just got a penalty, so yes. But
they haven't.
He's buggered if he does. He's buggered if he doesn't. Really, Moyes, isn't he? Because if he puts out a full strength team and say Declan Rice or Paqueta go and get a couple of hamstring injuries and then they're out the final, then he's going to be absolutely torn a strip off. Does it really matter if you lose this game? No, it doesn't. This is why we have squads of players, to be honest with you. You've got the 25 players to pick from. If I was him, I've got to be honest with you, I wouldn't put a strong team out because I would want to win a European trophy or any trophy that was coming up, whether it's that or the FA Cup, whatever. And I do feel a little bit for him.
Yeah, but I think, Chris, if the final was next Wednesday, I'd agree with you. But it's a week on Wednesday, so you've got 10 days to recover. So
yeah, but if it's a hamstring or an ACL.
No. These things could happen, but at the same time, if you don't kick a ball for 2.5 weeks, you pull the hamstring in the final. So it's a job to understand. I mean, I'd be interested from your point of view, Chris, because when I saw Leicester at the London Stadium earlier in the season, I thought you were a good side. I thought you beat us easily and comfortably. And before Christmas, before the World Cup break, you're looking like you were flying at the table. So I don't know what's happened since then. I'm very interested to understand what's gone wrong from your perspective.
At that point, which I think was just before you were the last game, I think before the World Cup.
World Cup, yeah.
I mean, it's as Jake will know because we've had this discussion. That there's a lot involved with Leicester this season. A lot of it down to the FP. FFP. Sorry, but when just before the World Cup. We had a run of games, and I'm not being disrespectful to any of the teams we played, but apart from taking yourselves out, maybe we'd got Forest, we'd got Leeds. There were teams that on paper we should have been beating, but because we've been so awful before that, it looked like we were suddenly on the turn. But and Moyes should have gone at that point. Not Moyes, what am I saying? Well, maybe Moyes, I don't know, but Rodgers certainly should have gone. We've got the players, and everybody says like, well, the squad's too good to go down. It isn't. No squad or team is too good to go down. You can be too awful to stay up, and I think that's what Leicester is this season. In a way, it depends who turns up. If it's the Leicester turns up that we got, we went and got a point against Newcastle, and I have not seen us battle like that all season.
There seemed to be a bit of sort of fight there and determination, I thought.
And yet you look at that, and it was like when we watched the game against Fulham, it was like watching Superman against Newcastle and the Powder Puff Girls against Fulham. So it depends which Leicester really turn up. Hopefully it's the second. But it's given us hope. We're still in there with a fighting chance.
Yeah.
You can say exactly the same for West Ham, unfortunately, though, Chris. Which West Ham will turn up as well.
Yeah, and I think the added factor of the final in there as well gives that another sort of dimension. Toby, in terms of Leicester on a whole, I think there's been many surprises that they've been down there fighting relegation, and it comes down to a game against us on the final day, which is interesting for them. What's with a side that haven't been great this season, but are also battling to stay up on the final day, it could prove to be quite difficult.
Yeah, but I feel like West Ham's having a run of good form recently. We've been playing well. Like our new signings are starting to wake up. Like Kerr's playing well now as well with Emerson, Paqueta. All of them have started to wake up and fit in the team like Moisey wanted.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, Gary, because these players haven't really hit it this season. I think it's fair to say, but in the last month they've come to life, and especially Lucas Paqueta. I mean, he's a player that's given me the sort of Payet vibes whenever he gets the ball. I'm like, oh, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting better and better. I mean, that last minute you were there at the stadium, Jake, last Sunday against Leeds, and he took it to the corner flag to waste a bit of time. And then Lucas thought, oh no, I'll just beat 4 or 5 players and put it back for Lanzini to score. So it was just such great skill, and he's got it all. He really has. He's a tremendous player. And I agree with Toby, Kerr's getting better. I mean, he was awful for the first few games of the season, but the last 2 or 3 games he's been quite stable. And I think that's probably Moyes' biggest decision in the final, whether to play him or Soufal at right back, because Kerr doesn't deserve to be dropped. But then most would say probably Soufal's the better player. So it's interesting tomorrow see what happens in that right back position.
Exactly. Let's take some of the comments to see who is in. Daniela, thank you for joining us as well. Evening, everybody from Malaysia. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Lawrence, I hope you are well, mate, from Lexington, Kentucky. 2 a.m. here in Malaysia. Oh, crikey.
Cool, dude.
That is quite late. Daniela says, what pees me off is every is that everyone thinks we rest players. The cup game is in 10 days to the final. The FA Cup is before that. And yeah, there is that element of that the players could be rusty, could be a little bit underprepared going into the final. Then if they've not, they've not had any game time, which could prove to be negative in that sense as well. So it depends on sort of, what way you look at it. Lawrence says we would jump the Wolves tomorrow. And also as well, if we win and Chelsea lose and there's a 3-goal swing, we finish above Chelsea. How good would that be? How good would that be? But that's sort of trivialities with it, isn't it? So we'll see. Steve, evening all. Must admit, I think he will go strong. Most people are in agreement there. Daniel says, Lawrence, I'm with you. The team going to be stronger than what Leicester wants. That's probably not what you want to hear, to be honest, Chris.
No, but look, I mean, if you put a weakened side out and you beat us, then that's going down, and we don't want to go down with that. So we want to go down fighting. We want to go down with the performance, win, lose, or draw, like we put in against Newcastle. I mean, all right, it was backs against the wall for a lot of the time. And let's be honest, and I know it was a long time ago, but last time we beat you, which was this season, we didn't play a B side. We played at that point with your strongest side. And I'm sure I wouldn't be happy if Bournemouth put out a weakened. I would be happy if Bournemouth put out a weakened side against Everton, but Leeds wouldn't want that. It's all like I say. This is why Moyes gets paid the big bucks. That's the decision he gets to make. And like I say, if Rice is taken off, with a hamstring and he's out for a couple of months, he'll get roasted alive. So. It's a decision that's got to be made. I would expect. I as much as I hope you go out with a weakened side, purely for the fact that on paper you would then think we'd win it. I think you will show us the respect and put out, whether it's the full strength, but certainly a strong side.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there for sure. Daniel says. More likely to pull a hamstring if he stops playing for 2 weeks. No Leicester fans are praying we put out a weak side on Sunday. James says if he doesn't go with a strong team come the final, will be 2.5 weeks of that game. No longer 100% match fit. Sounds like the championship playoff finals good. Up the Coventry. In it, Chris, up the Cov. Still 1-1, I believe, in that game.
Yeah, it's still 1-1. Half time with extra time.
Yeah, exactly. Sharky highlights an interesting point. Your subscriber numbers are really going up. Yeah, thank you very much indeed, everybody that has supported recently. We've gone past 5, 6, and 7, and up to 8,000 subscribers in the last few weeks. So it's been pretty crazy, and I thank everybody indeed for their support. Everybody having a little chat about flights, I think there. So we will let them crack on. Gary says Fiorentina played really well today. I beat Roma 2-1. They played well against Inter in the Italian Cup final. They will be tough opponents. They will be, and that's why our side has got to be there, fit and ready to go, because they will be a good side. They will be no pushovers. That is for sure. But overall, in terms of Leicester, Gary, do you think that there'll be that added element to they've had a poor season, but I mean this is it now. They've got to fight, and if they don't fight tomorrow, then.
You know what, Jake? As I said, we went to Leeds last week, and you looked at the Leeds lineup and thought, if we turn up today, this is going to be no contest. And really, we won easily without trying too hard. You look at the Leicester lineup, and as Chris said earlier, I don't know how they're down there. They've got some really quality players there. A few of them would get in West Ham's team easily. So if Leicester turn up and play well, it's going to be a tough game for us for sure. We'll have to play really well to contain them. They beat us on our own patch 2-0, and it was quite comfortable for them, I thought, watching the game. So good side, Leicester, and only they know why they're down there. But like I said, it's going to be a very tough game.
Only one man to blame.
Brendan Rodgers.
Yes. Well guessed.
I know you too well. Toby, who do you think could be our key player tomorrow if they start?
Paqueta. He's in Leeds. All he did was beat players, offload, all of it. If he turns up, I reckon he'll rip them to shreds.
Yeah, and I think as well with Paqueta that he's also helped Ben Rama as well, Toby, because you can see the link-up play there. You can see Ben Rama's confidence has increased as well.
Yeah, since Paqueta's been forming, he's been like making chances for Ben Rama, and he's been taking them, and they've just been working really well down that side.
And overall, since our midfield has improved, and Souček's improved in recent weeks as well, Gary. So overall, you've got a better and more solid and capable midfield there. You can see it through the rest of the team. We just flow a lot better.
We do. I mean, the formation's better now with the three in midfield. To be fair, Jake Souček couldn't get a lot worse than he did for the first half of the season. So it's from a low base, so he's getting better. But Declan's always 7.5, 8, 9 out of 10 every week. So you'll get that tomorrow. And as Toby says, Paqueta's flying at the moment. So we're going to be strong in midfield. Kera's looking good at the back. I'm not sure if Aguero will be picked tomorrow. Soufal might play. And Antonio's playing well. So I think, I'm confident if we play well, we'll certainly give Leicester a game. So they're going to have to play very well to win. And if they beat us and we're playing well, good luck to them.
No, I do agree. Let's move on to some predictions then. Chris, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go for my own team, obviously. It's going to be tight. I mean, I have gone for 2-1 to Leicester. I mean, that's how tight it is. My worry is if you get an early goal, we could just collapse. The crowd might get a little bit toxic, but I've got to back my own team on this one, and I've gone 2-1 today to the Foxes.
Can I just ask you a question, Chris?
Sure.
Do you think the other results will be fed through to the players quite quickly onto the pitch?
I think the crowd will let them know.
Do you think that will affect the performance? Say Everton, go behind or something, and you know it's in your hands. Do you think that's going to change the tactics of the Leicester team?
It shouldn't, because, and that's why I'm glad we got the, we in a way, as silly as it sounds, by not winning against Newcastle, it means we've got to go for the win. Yeah. We and the same with Everton. Neither of us can just go and play for a draw, which is probably the most dangerous option any team would ever have. You can't risk playing for a draw. You should have a game plan, and you should, don't get me wrong, 89th minute, Everton are losing, we're 1-0 up. Yeah, go 8 at the back. But during the game, you've got to have a game plan, and you've got to stick to it.
I'm interested in that, Chris, because I think that's when West Ham are at the best. If people attack us, we're better on the counter-attack. So that'd be quite interesting to see how Leicester play that, because they're obviously aware that West Ham like to sit back and attack on the counter-attack. So it's interesting to see.
We've got a manager now that seems to know what he's doing. And, we did against Newcastle. They battered us, let's be honest with you, but we put everything on the line. And then in the 60th minute, 70th minute, Dean Smith made some substitutions, brought Maddison on, and then literally Newcastle were holding on. The commentator said at this point, Eddie Howe will probably be glad to take a point just to make sure he's in the Champions League. And had Castagna's effort been a couple of inches more to the left, who knows?
And as well, Chris, we're taking the trip up to Leicester tomorrow, to a place where they don't clap with their hands, they clap with stupid paper things. So, we're bound to win.
I think you'll find it's cardboard, actually.
It's cardboard, are they?
Yeah,
blimmin' hell.
Yes. You don't.
Here he goes. He's going to bring one out now. Here he goes.
You don't mean one of these, do you? Look at that. Top quality cardboard.
Do they still really use them?
To be honest with you, they got rid of them this season.
Did they? Yes.
Yeah, but they brought them back a few weeks ago when Dean Smith came.
They're good this time of year, Chris, to light the barbecue with, aren't they?
Look, at the end of the day, you know what it's like. I mean, it's not the best atmosphere. The atmosphere is better at the bowling ground than it is at the London Stadium. But when your team's not doing well, and we brought those clappers in when we had the Great Escape, and it did change the atmosphere. It did get the crowd behind, because as much as you maybe don't want to clap or cheer, you don't mind whapping a bit of cardboard against your hand. And let's not forget, and this is going to be a straw grasping moment here, Jake.
Oh, here we go. We beat you 6 years ago in the Great Escape.
Yes, the team that we beat then was Aston Villa. No, it wasn't. It was West Ham. Same colours, who cares? It was West Ham with a 2-1 win.
Coventry, the same colours, who cares?
Yeah. Fate, and the women have just survived today, so who knows?
Oh, well,
God, I'm
maybe, yeah.
desperate. I'm desperate on it.
Very desperate. Toby, a prediction?
2-1 West Ham, I reckon. I feel like we'll score and then they'll score and then like just second half we'll dominate at the end.
I hope so. So Gary?
I can see it being a strange all day. I can see Everton not winning and Leicester drawing or something like that. I think we'll get like a 2-2 draw, I think, or 1-1 draw.
I definitely think there's goals in this game overall because they're a side that have got to come out and got to attack us. And usually when a side come out and attack us, both teams score a couple. But I'm going to sort of contradict that in a way. I think Leicester will score, but I think we'll win. I like the 2-1, but of course that's taken. So I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 West Ham. I can see it. I can see Leicester scoring early on.
We
to
scored
take the
more
lead.
goals than anybody else down there.
Yeah,
But
you
we
have. You scored a lot of
conceded
goals.
more,
Yeah.
so you know, didn't read into that.
Yeah. I can see Leicester sort of taking the lead early on when we're a little bit on the beach, and then we might, sort of turn up a bit, get a goal for half time, and then maybe a couple after. I don't know because I don't know what approach Moyes is going to take to the game. Whether he's going to take it as seriously as some of us think, or maybe he will look at it and go, doesn't matter, doesn't care at all.
As long as it's a good game and football's the winner,
Thing is,
then
Jake,
nobody ever.
as you said earlier, Jake, if we get that 3 goals win, finish 12th above Chelsea, we'll take that.
Oh, come on.
Can you
Honestly,
imagine?
that'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. But all I care about is some good chicken wings in the counting house at about 12 o'clock tomorrow. So order them in. Chris, you got some mates up there. Get me some chicken wings in, ready to go.
Yeah, make sure we spit in them first.
Final thoughts then, Toby. I'll come to you. What would you say to those players before they go out tomorrow?
Just like don't get injured, please.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Try, but like don't go into any silly challenges. Don't get anything like that.
Yeah, wise words. The last thing we do want to see tomorrow is, a challenge where somebody goes and, studs up someone in the kneecap and then they don't get sent off. I mean, that's the worst, Chris, isn't it?
Well, you've got players like that would do that to us, haven't you?
Yeah, not us. Nice side. Chris, final thoughts?
Look, what will be will be. Like I say, if we get relegated, it's not going to be just on tomorrow's score. It has been on the 37 games that have led up to this. I will wake up on Monday morning. I will still have a football club that's got a home ground to play in. And I will go out and I'll sit outside the house and not have to dodge bombs from, a neighbouring country. So at the end of the day, you've got to remember it's a football game. If we go down, I'm sure at some point we'll be back. But it is what it is. That is football. That is what football is all about.
It is. 3 teams have got to come up. 3 teams have got to go down, and well, we will see. It's still very tight down there. So there will be twists and turns throughout the 90 between R4 and R6, and I'm sure it'll be nervy. Yes or no, Chris? Will Leicester come straight back up if they go down?
No.
There we go. To be honest, I couldn't see any of the 3 coming straight back up. Southampton definitely won't come straight back up.
But then again, I mean, would you have said this time a year ago that Burnley would have come straight back up in the way they did?
That's a good point.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
That is the only thing about going down is that I don't think we would have achieved what we've achieved in the past 9 seasons. The winning the Premier League, we did that. FA Cup, we did that. English Super Cup / Community Shield, we did that. And that was all following, all joking aside. So I mentioned them. All joking aside, we all did that after we'd gone down to the 3rd tier. And we were able to get rid of a load of players that have been hanging around. And, we've got a lot of average players at the club at the moment that are on, way too much money for their ability. And if we go down, we can do like Burnley did and have a big clear out. Do I think we'll come straight back up? I don't think we will. My worry is the next manager's appointment's got to be so spot on.
Yeah.
Because if it isn't, then it could be quite a few years before we come back up.
No, that's the crucial part of it. And Gary, I will leave the final thought to you. Are you going tomorrow, Gary?
I made a mind yet, Jake. I've been out a busy week, so I don't know yet. But Chris, if you're worried about managers, just take a leaf out of Tottenham's book. They'll show you how to put a manager.
Well, I love Tottenham. It's the club that keeps on giving.
Oh, they're great, aren't they? Yeah,
And of course, they're being linked now with Brendan Rodgers. So
I know, I saw that today.
it gets funnier and funnier and funnier. But
Everybody's
can I
running
just
a
say,
mile.
before you guys go, I mean, all banter aside, good luck against Fiorentina.
Thank
I hope you do it. I always want to see English clubs do well, and I like to see the fact that it's a club. And no disrespect, but we're not Man City, we're not Man United. And it was great to see you up there with us for a couple of seasons. But all the best in the conference final, and I hope you bring it home.
Yeah,
Thank you
cheers,
very
Chris.
much. Thank you very much, Chris.
If you weren't playing those, I'd like to see you stay up, to be honest, and Everton
so
and Leeds
would I.
get down, and that's the gospel truth. But unfortunately, it's not like that.
It is what it is.
I'm also a
Thank
little
you.
bit sad that I think tomorrow is set up for Moyes. You can see him now in the change room
Yeah.
saying, "Quieten the crowd down, keep it tight. We'll get a chance here."
Go out there and defend, and then we'll see what happens.
It's literally made for him. It's like he's sat at home now, just dancing around, writing his book. This is what I want to do. Can't believe
What a
it's
day! What a day! But,
What a day.
Moyes could be our best bet to winning this game.
But overall, to finish off, Toby, I mean, we could in 10 days' time, I think it is, or whenever Man City play. Man City and West Ham could be the European, 2 of the 3 European winners this season, and I mean that doesn't sound too bad, does it?
No, it's better than the boring teams winning it like always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, and
I'll be honest, Toby. If we're playing Manchester City in the final, I wouldn't feel that confident.
No, neither would I. Neither would I. We don't know what Fiorentina are going to bring, but it's probably not going to be.
Oh, Luton just scored. Luton just scored. 4 minutes to go. Yeah, just scored 2-1.
Right at the end.
Who have?
Luton.
Yes.
Look at Chris.
It wasn't a penalty before. It was a booking to the other side. But come on, Luton.
Luton just scored.
We love Luton. We love Luton.
Do we? Oh. I wanted Coventry to come out because there's a class away day, that'll be. But oh well, doesn't look like it's meant to be. But thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. We will be up at the King Power tomorrow. There'll be a road trip as you're waking up tomorrow morning because we'll be already awake by about 3 hours because we're avid pub goers because we'll be in the pub nice and early tomorrow. It's been
ruled out.
It's been ruled out.
Outside.
Yes, get in. Oh, come on, Chris. Start celebrating.
What could be worse? What could be worse? Forest staying up, Coventry coming up, and we go down.
That's it.
Ruled out VAR.
Oh, God, thank you.
We'll leave it there. We'll see you at Leicester tomorrow if you are making the trip, and vlog, reaction clips. It's all coming, and we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Toby, Gary, Chris, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Cheers.
Take care.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, guys. Come on, you irons.
All right.